Hello boys, welcome back to Super Mario 3D World 100%, collecting all the green stars and other stuff while using Luigi throughout the setup. We left off finishing the second world of all of its stars. Now we have to continue on to this world. Hopefully things get a little bit better because we've been having a couple of problems so far, but beyond that, the game hasn't really been really difficult. I already mentioned before, I've lost way more lives in Super Mario 3D World. In Super Mario 3D All-Stars, I've lost way more lives there than in this one. Okay, so this one has a pretty cool power-up that you can use. Here's a little secret trick here. If you bounce on these guys enough times, you can get up to 3 1-ups from doing that. Also, okay, I didn't actually get it, but there's a possibility that you can pick up one of those coin block hats and wear it as an actual power-up, which I think is really cool. Only available in Super Mario 3D World as far as I know, and looks like Small Ball Park has become very important because that gives us access to one of the more interesting power-ups that I like. The Tail power-up, returning from the initial game, and it would help if I can get this. You know what, I'll just have to run it off, unfortunately, to make sure this is good. Now, generally, when you want to play this game properly, you want to use either this power-up or a different one. Otherwise, it could get really difficult. And we're going to use this to do a little bit of a trick with this rabbit here, maybe? Or not. It would help if we could actually catch him, that's for sure. I don't even know where he went. Yes, the bunny rabbits are returned from the Wii U version or Saturn. They're pretty difficult to catch without using touchscreen controls. I could have actually just used that and try and run it into him. That probably would have worked better. The most useful thing about the power-up, Tanuki, is you can just do that to go through that, and looks like we don't even need our cat suit at all. Now, if you have this particular power-up set, and people are probably going to wonder, so I'm gonna, I guess, tell you now while you're at it. If you have this particular power-up combination upon getting to a certain level, you can do this really crazy skip where you throw up the cat suit power-up, or throw out the Tanuki power-up, you cat dive into it, and then do a jump after that, and if you time it all within a specific time window, you get this crazy super jump that sends you really far, and you can actually use it to skip a potential owl score in one section and save a lot of time in the final level of this game, or intended final level of this game. Obviously, we are not interested in that one bit, so we're just going to do this normally and hope for the best. Oh boy. The heck was that sound? That was pretty weird, but I guess I don't know. Okay, unfortunately, I do believe we need the cat suit for this, so no things for here. This is the hard level of this game. This world. No, not game, but this world. And you think it's world free. What makes it so difficult? Well, there's a particularly annoying jump. Just one singular jump that's extremely annoying that you have to do to get one of the things and then get back to the end. in order to do that. We could potentially skip it with touchscreen controls, but because we don't have that, it'll be a little bit difficult, and we'll just do this game's intended way of getting through that, because, yeah. Anyway. This part is pretty churly, and also here comes the churl jump. It is really churly, and I do not like it one bit. If you catsuit dive over it, you can't really make it either, and because I do not have full things, I cannot collect using a touchscreen. In the Wii U version, you're able to collect that using a touchscreen, and that makes it a lot better, but instead we have to do this. Use a floating jump to get a lot of momentum, and then from there, just kind of get back. We have to do that all in one setting. Otherwise, we do that. Thankfully, if you die, the green star does stay collected. Yeah. Now, with Luigi, obviously, that jump is made a lot easier. Either Luigi or Peach will make that jump easier. If you're using one of the main characters, which I did use Mario for this originally, it is way more difficult. In fact, actually, let's change to the catsuit power-up before we get too far in, because I do need to finish the level with it in order to collect a stamp later. And from the looks of it, we also need it for this anyway. See, that's why we needed the catsuit. Right. Cool, at least we bounced off one of their heads. That helps out a little bit. Okay, we're out of the painfulness. For an all-score level, this is actually surprisingly difficult. Also, you don't need that. I'm just doing that for fun. You could just climb up the pole for this. And yes, this is another one that requires the catsuit, so good thing we didn't take any damage, otherwise that would have been crazy. Of course, this is just the first part of the game, and we have Luigi's catsuit now. That's cute to see. Obviously, this is the best power-up in the game, because obviously it looks adorable, which makes sense. Alright, anyway. On to the Shifty Boo Mansion now. Kinda want to save my catsuit power-up for later. So anyways, you can get into this pretty early. Alright, let's go down the lower path here and see if there's anything. My most annoying problem that I always don't like is remembering where the stamp and other stuff is. Especially since that disappears pretty early on. Okay, this one I do know about. If you hit a specific block, you'll trigger another green star to spawn. So with that in mind, we have to go all the way to the left in order to make it appear. So eventually, after removing stuff, a green star spawns. You can despawn it early by simply using a catsuit, but I don't want to lose it later, so I figure let's do it the intended way. So that's an interesting one. Too bad it's not actually useful for anything. Normally you'd think, oh, that invisible platform would lead to something. Nope. Not. It does not lead to anything, unfortunately. Okay, looks like we do have to attempt to go down that green pipe, but yeah, it's a fake green pipe. One of those will have a star for us, which is why we needed that from the beginning. Okay, so that shows us there's only a 1-up in there, unfortunately. Oh, see, there's a spot that you can use. It doesn't help that not having knowledge of the area won't really allow you to do much. Okay. Really? That's only there for that? Oh, wait. Hang on, it's not this level. I keep thinking this is the level that has some stuff in it, but no, this is not actually correct. It's actually much later on. You see, I got this mixed up with another room, so you know what? We have to continue forward even further. The pipe you see up top, that's what we actually have to get to. If we fail to jump from here, we'll need to use the cat suit to climb back up there. And there you go, by despawning that pipe, by making it go away, we can deal with that. And now for probably the biggest trick. The fake flag, also known as the fake flagpole. Yeah, that's right. The first pole you see in this is not a flagpole at all. You have to go further down the line, and there's the actual flagpole, and we can finish the level now. Yeah. They definitely do it like that. They want you to spend some time on this level. Right, let's continue on really quickly through here. We could probably finish this world in this video, but it definitely takes longer. So yeah, in case you're wondering, yes, you can play these levels with 4 players now. This was mostly put into the game due to requests, because these game levels used to be only played by yourself, which is very terrifying and also very annoying. They're still cool nonetheless, but kind of annoying that you can't do other stuff from it. Right. To get any further, we actually have to lower the water level in order to make this accessible. Oh boy. Oh wait. I think I found where it is. Hang on. A fake. Oh wait a minute. Oh right, we do need this. Because we could just fall down here and collect this. Okay, well, but we do have to also go through the entire part again. Yeah. I find it kind of interesting that they allow 4 extra players to play with Hat and Toad. It's a little bit interesting, to say the least. Yeah. I like it, though. Okay, I think I figured out what to do. I should have gotten that last. I'm kind of silly for not getting that any up to here a little bit sooner. Oh, and fun fact, that doesn't actually lower the water level. It raises the water level up higher, so So it allows us to get through this spot. But yeah. Right, anyways, though, we are done with that. And yes, these levels also required the gamepad. If you were playing on a controller, you don't actually get to use the CAD at all. Just kind of unfortunate. So yeah, if you're playing solo, you basically have to use the gamepad if you're playing on the original version. Nice that you can kind of do that now with any controller now, which is a big problem they had, and also allows up to 4 players to play. That is, yes, by the way, only available in the Switch version of this game. Also, time for our first quick level. With a very interesting name to make sense. Pretty Plaza Planet, which is a very quick level and starts with kind of a diff jump. We jump back here and get a green star just like that. Again, I'm gonna have to play this level twice. Once as this character, and a second time as the Princess Peach. Yeah, the Princess Peach. I'm gonna add my pad into this thing to try and catch him early, but it looks like that didn't work. Okay, we finally caught him. So obviously we'll start by collecting everything other than the Switch first. And then we can do this. I will say these times are most useful. Right. Since I don't care about needing Katsu for this level, we're just gonna do the flagpole thing normally, which is fine, because we get 2 chances at it. Thankfully, this level's really short. And yes, this is a 100-second level. They brought back the rush levels from New Super Luigi U. There's a game called New Super Luigi U, which is like Mario U, but every single level is only 100 seconds long and way more difficult. In the Switch version, you do get extra time if you play as one of the easier characters, but if you play as Luigi, you get the full, thing. So anyways, for this one, we are forced to use Princess. So, now Peach gets to make a solo appearance. And here you can see she's kind of overpowered if you're playing as a beginner player. But she does have her disadvantages, like not being able to catch the thing really easily. Yes, she's the only character where naturally you do not get a perfect. Also, she has by far the best cat momentum in the game if you use it properly. She goes from being the slowest character to being the fastest character in the game, but it takes a little while to get used to. But yeah, there's Peach's one appearance, of course, and now we are gonna go back to Luigi with that in mind. We unfortunately lost our other power-up, but that doesn't really matter. I was just trying to keep it for as many levels as I could, and I think I did a good job. There is one level in particular where I will probably change my power-up selection. I have it set up so where I'll actually use a hovering power-up, I mean the Tenui suit, for some of the game, because if you don't have that, it can be rather difficult to traverse through those levels. Beyond that, though, we're going to be going through most of the game with only the cat suit. If we can help it. And kind of just throwing in other power-ups as we go on for fun. So far, the game's been going pretty well. As per usual. If you can't... The biggest thing about the momentum is when you use a cat dive and then cancel it by using your... Okay, that's just coins. I'm not able to time this right, so I'll just do this and hope for the best. Okay, cool. We got a decent power-up, which is actually pretty good anyways, because we need it for this. And yes, you can throw fireballs down the pipes as well. It's pretty interesting. Okay, our first actual hidden star here. Kind of interesting that you look for stars in this level and yet you can't find any of them anywhere for a while. May as well collect those, because why not? Hey, there's something up there, by the way. You could tell because there was a weird shine that appeared when we went up there. See, there's another star, or in this case, a stamp. Oh, and we found a cannon as well. Guess what? That cannon is required for one star in particular. In this spot right here. Only the cannon can destroy this block. You cannot get here without it otherwise. And inside here we get a little secret with some star and some coins. Essentially a golden pipe of some sorts, but this time there's nothing much other stuff. And that's the last use for it in this level. We can lose it and be fine now. But if we use it before that, we won't be able to do that. And for the last secret, you can go above here to enter a secret pipe, which takes you further up into this area, which is a secret area that'll hold the last star. If you just go down into the pipe, you will not find this. Also, time to switch back to the cat suit. Yeah, it's really fun. Alright, let's go ahead and do this bonus while we're here, just to make things more interesting again. We're just gonna do that again, because I don't want to waste time going for the full 7s, because it's much easier to do it with just 4 players at once than 1, because you can kind of set it up in a way where you can time it perfectly. Otherwise, it's pretty difficult, actually. Right. Time for the sort of Mario Kart themed level, or in this case, Mount Mustache. Oh, get that pun by the way, Mount Mustache, and we're playing as Luigi. It's pretty fun. This is a really cool level. This becomes a really cool level if you have 4 players at once, because it introduces the first proper dash panels into the game and is generally a very fast level to play, which I like. And killing all those guys for a 1-up and getting that. And ground pound into the block to get into a secret. Whew, okay. That bunny is actually probably the most difficult part art of the mystery boxes, so I hope that we can get that when it matters more, because we will have to deal with him later. But yeah, anyways, just kind of slowing ourselves on the bumps just to get to a couple of stuff. Now, there's quite a few ways to get to this. I'm taking the easy route where you use a cat suit to just climb up, and it's pretty simple. And from there, we've gotten all of our stuff. And now we're gonna dash off. If you time just right, you'll land on the flagpole every time. Like I said, this always becomes really fun when you have 4 players, because then, rather than trying to throw each other off, you're racing against each other to see if you can get to certain areas as successful. And it becomes really fun because now, instead of fighting against each other, you're just having a natural competition, seeing who can get to an area first. And it's really fun. I hate that level. That's probably many people's favorite level to play in the game. Not normally too difficult, but still pretty interesting in their own regard. Here's another trick that could be potentially used, which I'll show, like, right now. This touchpad thing can also hit those switches, which is kind of interesting. So that means you don't have to stand on them. In fact, actually, there I just did the little trick there, which is one thing you were able to do with the gamepad and can do with the touchscreen controls of this game. You could just use your fire to do that, and that makes things fun. Right. Beyond that, though, we don't really have anything else to do. This is the level where I start to get really annoyed about the bees, because they are just super annoying to deal with, and overall it's not really fun. But we get a star to make things a little bit easier, maybe. And yeah, we could just straight up kill that guy with the star, which is cool. Now, this is what makes this level so difficult. So for that reason and that reason only, I'm changing off my normal power-up just to make it easier to do this level. Also, here's a little bit of a strat. If you stay in, like, the middle here, you can get the star almost every time without having to do any movement. Obviously, because I am worried, I took that a little bit slow just to make sure I got it. And don't worry, you don't skip anything by going for that switch. All you skip is literally nothing. Okay. And yes, this is the other hard level of World 3, in case you didn't already notice. It's really annoying to get through. It has some pretty nasty secrets, actually. Particularly one hidden behind this waterfall. Which gets even more obnoxious when you find out that in order to get it, you have to crouch. One of the lonely and only useless for crouch in the game, and this is where it gets a little bit more difficult. Anyways. Tried to duck for that. Almost worked. The stamp I'm always super confused about, by the way. I don't actually know where it is. Oh, there it is. Speaking of which, we just found it. But we need our secret to get that. And that's really annoying because this thing's gonna roll down again at us. Okay, that time we were able to duck and avoid it. Right, okay. Now it should line up a lot better. We could maybe have collected that with Tetsuya Tails, but again, we're not playing on the proper controller for that. Okay, now to use this power-up to get our Katsu back so that we can get the easy fly pull there. And the main reason I didn't use the Katsu immediately because I thought I was going to get hit at the start of the level or die, because this is an easy all to die in if you're not careful, especially when you go into the speedrun and start doing speedrun strats on it. Also, that Fane bonus game respawned really quickly, which is kind of strange, but yeah. Okay then. Right, on to our second auto score and another annoying level. This one, compared to the other one, is way more difficult, and we will skip the parse part of it. Cool, we got another Tanuki. Tanuki's always really nice to have. So now we get introduced to our first unique enemy in the game that only appears in this game at the moment. The cat bullet instead of the homing bullet. In the original games, these homing bullets were known as simple homing bullets that would turn red as you approached an area. There's quite a few different ways to do this. I'm taking a safety approach of just using this to... Yeah, pretty fun, eh? Now you need this in order to free Captain Toad here, otherwise you won't be able to get that. Thankfully, the auto score stops now, so it's not to be too worried. And you can get the stamp in here pretty easily as well. Oh, this will spice up the fight a little bit, since you got to see the Mega Rusher, which was cool. And to be fair, I probably was going to show it up at some point. And yes, I went a little slower with it because... Yeah, anyway, we're into Pom Pom. This series' unique villain, appearing from Super Mario 3D Land first, and having a little bit a tougher pattern, just mostly annoying in the fact that she splits into multiple clones, and you need to figure out which one is the real one. There's a small shine you will see before they split up. That is that one that shines. That is the real Pom Pom, and you have to hit her 3 times to defeat her. Again, pretty straightforward fight though. The fights will get more difficult though as the theme progresses on. And once we get through enough of them, we'll eventually reach our last few fights, which will lead to some more fights with Bowser and maybe other sizes later. But for now, we have finished off this world. Right, so now we're on to this next world. And I don't want to skip too many cutscenes from that on, except for the cutscene that lets you get into each of those levels, because obviously doing that normally takes a little while, so I'm glad that they are able to do that. Also, by the way, we're trapped in this area now. So, Bowser has trapped us in the form of these carnival bosses, which serves as this game's hidden bosses. So to continue on, we have to defeat these bosses, and the first one is Histocrat. The simpler of the bosses, but still kind of annoying to deal with. In the speedrun, this is where you would use Luigi, because Luigi saves a lot of time on this fight. Right. Alright, but now we have a boss out. So there's a little trick you can do to kind of skip it. I'm not going to show it right now because I want to show you how you're supposed to defeat this boss. This involves using the cat suit, and you have to get up top here. If I can actually get up there, which has been pretty slow. As you can see, this one is only annoying due to the fact that it can take a long time to get up to him. There we go. Right. Now I'll show you the little trick. If you do a spin jump, you could just barely make it up there. And it's possible to skip that. You can only do that as a Luigi, effectively. You can do it as other characters, but it's a lot slower. It looks like I didn't actually get it the first time because I clipped the first time. Okay, again I missed it. I don't like doing this from here because this... Okay, beyond this, it's a pretty straightforward fight, actually. You can take him out pretty quickly, regardless. From the looks of it, he has been changed a little bit, unfortunately. But yes, if you're using Luigi, you can make those fights a lot quicker. Anyways... That was not the best fight there. We had a lot of problems dealing with that, but we'll definitely practice it in the future. Because, yes, there's a way to hit him early, but I believe that only has been confirmed to work in the Wii U version, so I assume it's been fixed in a Switch version. Still nice to give it a try, though, once in a while. And yes, it's very precise. You have to hit him... You kind of have to do a really high jump, which you can only do with a spin jump, and it has to be pretty high up as well. But yeah, it's possible to hit that early, and I gave it a couple tries, but nothing came out. It can be very tricky to learn, though, so for the moment, we'll just move on to the next one. By the way, that pipe's sort of a trap. That doesn't actually lead to anything, so we're gonna continue on normally. Into N Trooper Hill we go, and we're going to go through this. Nice save there. There's quite a few tricks in this game, most of them involving the cat suit. And we are took in some damage. I obviously want to make sure that I still have the cat suit, so we're going to get it right back and continue on. Right. Anyways. Cool. Right, so we are done with that, and now for the slowest part of this level, which I unfortunately failed again. So you have to stay on this guy for a little while until you eventually reach the end. By the way, this is the Oscar portion of the level, and I happened to fail on that, which I find kind of annoying. Well, okay. It's a good thing I waited a little bit before using the cat suit, so at least we got to keep that, but, not the best. But at the very least, we survived, which is fine enough for me. As long as we survive, I'm perfectly fine. We can get cat suits in multiple places. You know, I'll try and go through most of this game without doing a retry, so I mean, some levels might take a little bit longer if I failed too early. The nice thing about this game is it gives you mushroom at the start of each level, so at minimum you're always at least able to take one hit before dying. And speaking of which, we need... I believe we need this power up again for our secret later. Either that or a fire planet, but... Okay, I'm gonna show you a little trick you can do with this. If you have the touchscreen. Yeah, the touchscreen is able to also hit those piranhas, which I find to be really interesting. The first actual secret isn't until much later, which I find kind of interesting. As Peach, that is a lot more difficult, but because we're Luigi, we have a really easy time with it. Luigi definitely has some advantages in lots of spots, and that is one of them. He is able to just straight up jump to the star without having to worry about too much. But yeah. By the way, it's not actually this part of the level yet. It's much later where it gets a little bit more difficult. And we missed, of course. Just completely flubbed a jump. We're Luigi, we have higher jump, and we still missed that entirely. I feel kind of bad for myself. Okay, I forget if there's a secret there. I think it's not until much later. Oh, we got a star instead. Well, it looks like we're going fast mode. Wait a little, again, waiting to use the cat power up until the very end, just because I knew I would probably take damage somewhere. One of the trickier flagpoles to get, because yeah, you're supposed to bounce off that guy to get it. Another spot where having the cat suit saves tons of time overall. So from the looks of it, I actually I've found a good strategy to keep the cat suit. It involves getting any random power up. That suit would be nice because then I could just continue through without getting extra power-ups. But even if it's a fire power, at the very least I can use that to get other stuff. It's once I lose both that gets a little bit crazy though. The first way to get it back would probably be to use the toad houses, which is why I'm not actually using them, because you can use those toad houses and if you get lucky you can get all of the power-ups right away. So anyways, to defeat this opponent, we have to get these boulders and throw them into other stuff. Obviously, we want to try and throw them into the other boulders to destroy them. It would help if I actually threw it properly. There we go. Kinda slow. It's one of the more difficult blockades to do properly, especially since you would have to jump on them to get it to work the same way. But again, Catsuit makes this pretty easy. Right, but we're continuing on now. These worlds are definitely getting a lot longer, that's for sure. I'm gonna ignore the beat block highway for now, because that seems a little difficult. Instead, we're going into Big Bounce Byway. Cute level with some bouncers hidden around. Interesting. Looks like the power-up is either on top of that and or much elsewhere. If you pound near an invisible question block, it may turn regular. Oh, jeez. Wow, the game... Wow, this level's starting pretty brittle so far. No power-ups to collect at all. I don't like this, by the way. You know what? Let's just ignore it. It's fine. As long as we could keep this, we're probably gonna be fine. By the way, the first actual star doesn't appear until moments later. Takes quite a while to actually do this. So we've made one of these turn into a sprain, and we need that sprain for later, so we're gonna carry it around for now. Then throw it down, and then throw it back here. We can bounce off of it to get things going again, which I think is cool. And yes, this is the entire way of doing this. It is possible to get up here, and I do believe Luigi is able to get up here, which is nice. Don't know if this thing is needed elsewhere, so we're gonna continue just going for the level with it in our inventory. I don't think it actually is required though, so we're gonna just keep it like that. Okay, there we go. Now we can finally remove that. I was starting to get worried that I wouldn't find a way to do other stuff. Yes, if you take too long, the sprain will turn evil again. Okay, I'm changing to cat suit because I do believe you normally would have to take out these guys, so we're just gonna do that. You know what? Screw it. We are going to keep the cat suit in play. We'll just have to take this a little bit safer to make sure we get what we need. No star there, so no reason to go for that. There's our stamp in the middle of this madness. Cool, alright, we avoided all of them. This is another one where you need the sprain normally to get up top, but we could just climb up because we have the cat suit. Even if not having power-ups is bad, particularly if you don't have a cat suit for some of the levels. One standing problem that always gets annoying is having to actually get to the flagpole, the top of the flagpole, sort of manually in order to actually make it work. Okay, I'm gonna do this route kind of weird because I believe the next mystery house I do has a cat suit in it, so I could just pick that up if I lose that. But we're gonna ignore what this is. So we can go into B block highway. Avoid this level for one reason. It's kind of annoying. And yeah. It's another clone level, as you can see, meaning we are required to use multiple owns at once. So we have to navigate them throughout the level to get them to certain spots. The best way of probably dealing with this level is to get them to face in a line, and then from there kind of just go through normally. Once they get off is when things get really difficult, so you kind of want to form a line with them. Okay, this guy needs to go away. Cool, we got our first star though. Any others that aren't in there by the time we get to the end will automatically be put in there, so at least we don't have to worry about that. Anyway. Right. Sorry if I'm taking this a little bit slower than usual. This is one of the more difficult levels because, once again, you have to have at least a decent amount of the clones survive until the very end of the level. Otherwise, it can get really annoying. But we made it to a spot where we need to be. And that's the spot that I was talking about. We need that platform to get up to the stamp, and from there we are good. Nah. I could go for this a little bit quicker, but I'm not interested in doing that. Okay, now I will do a small skip. I am Luigi, so I could just do that. So we'll do that, and I believe there is still one spot left where at least 2 clones need to survive to continue on. We'll start by entering this pipe, though, to pull our clones in with us, and from there, here. Right, and now we want to spread them out as much as we can. If you don't spread them out, or have any clones at all, that spot becomes very difficult. Now for the most annoying thing to do with your clones is get down this right edge. Again, we have to set this up by getting them into a line, and from there, we have to jump every time the beat block comes in. Thankfully, we get a cycle where we can just do that, so it saves a little bit of stress. But yeah. And then we can kind of just ignore the last side. Okay, and now we press the last switches. We get our last star, and from there, the clones, we don't care about them anymore. We can kill them off if we want. In fact, the regular run would kill them off here, because that makes going for this next section a lot easier. Anyway, so yeah, we killed off a couple of them, because like I said, it doesn't matter anymore. So yeah, it took a little longer than we wanted, but he got through it. That's what matters. I'm mostly worried about not having any clones in that level, because if you rush and you lose too many of them, you won't have enough players to press the switch at the end, or enough stamps from there. Now, because I had the Katsu, I could have actually skipped that entirely anyways. You would... Only reason you need the clones is for that specific setup you saw later. Okay, now I will actually go here normally. So, our second Mystery House of the game, Mystery House Mad Dash, which is a race to the finish, in this case, on each of these levels. I haven't really mentioned what these mystery houses are, but these essentially function as a series of sort of miniature mini-games, and the goal is to get the star at the end of each of them before the 10 seconds are up. Otherwise, you have to redo the level from the beginning again. Everything despawns once you get it, though, so you don't have to worry too much. This is my least favorite one, if you don't, if you try moving to the right, but if you move straight, it's pretty straightforward. Most of these are not really that difficult. These mostly are just there to have you have a little bit of fun, but beyond that, it's not really that challenging, though it will become more challenging later. The one at the end is the most difficult, simply because you have to do, what, 40 of these, or 30 of these in a row, without, doing anything. Right, now the last one, which is a race to the end of this spot. Most of these strategies I just know from memory and instinct again since I've watched a couple of seed runs and I've beaten the game 100% myself. Of course, this will be your first time seeing it, obviously. So I guess while I'm here, I may as well tell you what I'm trying to do with the game for those of you who are new. In case you didn't know, there is a second game in this called Bowser's Fury. I am not going to do that first because I find it more interesting to play for this game instead. So for that reason, I'm going to be fully 100%ing this game first, which involves collecting every single star available and every major stamp available before the finishing move. Anyways, we're into our first Fire Bro hideout. These are the only enemies that can be very difficult, because obviously they're Fire Bros. They're very difficult, especially without a cat suit. They have a decent chance of damaging you if you are not careful. Thankfully, we were able to get through that one. But yeah, I guess while I'm at this, I will be doing this full game first in terms of its 100%, and then after I 100% that, I will do Bowser's Fury, because people are already 100%ing Bowser's Fury, as I know. In fact, a couple of them have probably already completed by now, so I figured since this is the first day of the list, I would do this first, because I like it better anyway. Now, I did hear rumors that there was a Yoshi character in there, but beyond that, I'm actually kind of blind for that, so we'll figure that out. Beyond that, this is essentially the same game as its original, but with a couple of notable changes. The most obvious one I've seen so far is being able to skip all of the cutscenes, and also having a slightly better multiplayer experience, which I like a lot. I'm gonna kill each of these guys. I know I don't need to, but I like to do that. This is another level where you need the cat suit for, so of course they give you some cat suits. So, the first secret is actually all the way back here. You head into here to collect a secret stamp, and from there you kind of just collect stuff. Okay, we're gonna start this level by doing this first. There you can see the pointer is able to press some stuff there, which makes it pretty easy. The pointer can also be used to collect green stars and green star coins for you, or I guess not directly green stars, but you can use it to move a bat into a green star to collect it. So yeah, if you're playing on the Wii version, there's lots of stuff you could do to make it a lot more interesting, which I like. The only problem I find with the game is pretty obvious, is the fact that you can't use point and control stuff without really using many stuff. Which is too bad, because I feel like the right stick could very easily be used for a gamepad, and oh my goodness, I do not like this one bit. But lost a cat suit, but we got it right back, thankfully, so it's not going to really make a difference, and we're not going to even care about those guys, because what we need to do is climb all the way up here. Hidden all the way in here is, you know, our green star. Again, because I 100% I know this from memory, mostly. Okay, now the only tough part about the level gets particularly annoying when you are trying to build cat momentum in the seed run. Especially when you lose your power like that. Just barely made it, and barely made it again. It's probably the hardest part of the level to do properly. Okay, dealt with that though. And no, I'm not saying any charges to run, because I I'm not sure if you could actually beat this without taking damage. I know you could at least probably beat the main storyline without taking any damage, but obviously, since it's been a while, I don't want to jump into that right away, because that might be a little too hard for me. And by the way, this is where we're going to end the episode. Unfortunately, I'll have enough time to do that, but it's fine. We'll do that boss next video. So leave a like if you guys enjoyed, comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!